I want to continue a little bit with the story and the history of the FMI sisters, the Daughters of Mary Immaculate, whom I've talked about a number of times before. It's a really interesting story and it reflects the history of the mission. You're with Roger from the MSC Mission Office, and you're with Mission Alive, and the mission is alive. As I've mentioned in the history of our sisters, they were founded in 1912 by Bishop Coupe, and they were entrusted to the Daughters of Our Lady of the Sacred Heart to guide and form them and lead them into this new concept of religious life. Bishop Coupe also had consulted our Father General, who was Father Jules Chevalier, and he wrote, Bishop Coupe wrote their first constitution. That was the beginning. That was in 1912. 1926, Bishop Coupe dies. That must have been a bit of a blow to the sisters. But in 1928, as I mentioned, TB got into the group. 22 of them died in 10 years. And after that, even though a cure was on the way, many of them were sick. So that really knocked them back. In 1937, they had 25 years Jubilee celebration. And after that celebration, the Healthy Sisters were moved to a place called Takabur, and new postulants were accepted. So it was a new beginning and a new growth. 1942 was war with Japan. In 1945, after the war, there was a big effort to rebuild and to re-establish and to increase numbers and strengthen the group. Now, all of these things, as I said, mirrored the growth and the development of the mission as a whole. From small beginnings to continue to grow, to work through difficulties such as a TB epidemic within the group, not through the diocese, but the vicariate at the time would have had many difficulties and many problems. So then in 1962 there was a 50 years jubilee, and at this time the congregation became a diocesan congregation with a new constitution, and the sisters took final vows for the first time. So that was a big step for them, to have a new constitution a bit more in line with the times and to take their final vows. This was a big recognition and a big step as they became a diocesan congregation. 1965, the Second Vatican Council ended, and we saw there the development of the sisters wanting to be trained, and many of them over the following years were trained as teachers and nurses, and eventually more training in pastoral work. In 1967, at a meeting of the Catholic Women Religious, the first meeting of such, the FMI were not represented. The Ulsh sisters represented them, and the bishop at the time wrote to the Superior General to say the FMI sisters were not yet ready to be on their own. Interesting statement. 1969, some of the sisters asked to go elsewhere for study, and they did. 1987 was 75 years Jubilee. 1990s, they began writing new constitutions, approved in 2021. In 2008, we had a renewal program, and in 2012 they celebrated their 100 years. And so the order progressed through many stages and steps, and they're still going. They're still having success. They're also having problems and difficulties, which is part of the world, a part of the way things go, and that's part of the mission, to continue through the difficulties, to get over the problems, to cope with personal problems of some of the members, and so on and so forth. And that is mission, and that happens across the board in vicariates, dioceses, some successes, some failures, some big setbacks, coming back again, regaining strength, regaining direction. That's all part of mission, and that's what we're doing everywhere across the world today in response to this pandemic. What is the future of the church? What is the future of our communities? We are all on mission, and thank you.